straight into it. So, Kyle, just give us a summary of the team's preparations ahead of tomorrow's game.
Yeah, we've had a couple of days off to start off with. Obviously, two losses. Yeah, so it was nice to have a couple of days off actually, because it was pretty full on from leaving Oman to coming straight into some extra competition, and emotions were up and down. So taking a bit of time to just reflect on that and find our feet a little bit. And the last couple of days we've had some practice, so the guys have realigned themselves, got themselves prepared for what we're going to face over the next couple of days. But obviously, the New Zealand game starting tomorrow.
So it's been around a week since you last played your last game. Do you see that more as a help than a hindrance, per se?
I think so. I think definitely. Look, the emotions were all very high. You know, getting through to the Super 12s, it was something that we set as a target, and we believed that we could do getting through to Super 12s. But when you get through, then there's even more eyes on you, and the pressure sort of just that bar just raises just that little bit further. So giving our guys a chance to sit back in many ways and just watch and see what's going on, and be able to reflect and regroup in many ways, and try and take what learnings we can from the group stage and then into the Super 12. So look, there's some fantastic teams that we've got to play still, and we've played against two obviously very dangerous teams already. So lots to learn, lots to take on board, and hopefully now we can put this preparation into play.
We saw a glimpse of the great team spirit that you guys have during the first round of matches in Oman. How important is that going to be in reacting to the defeats that you've had in the Super 12 so far, and looking to win tomorrow's game? Yeah,
there was obviously a fair amount of disappointment after the two performances that we've put in since making the Super 12s. Putting it into a bigger picture, those performances especially weren't necessarily how we wanted them to go, but cricket has its ways of keeping you very honest and keeping you very level. I'm a big believer of riding the wave and trying to use some of the emotions when you need to use them, but you also need to be okay with sitting back and taking a step back and just figuring out where you actually are, reassessing, and then moving forward again. So look, we've got some great camaraderie amongst our group, and the culture is excellent, and each and every one looks after that culture. So we look after each other as well, and we tried to have a bit of time together, and like I said, regroup. We got out on the golf course the other day, which was entertaining. Probably far too many shouts of 4 on the golf course than there should have been, but the guys needed to take their mind off the cricket and give themselves a chance to just clear their mind. And yeah, look, we're back onto it now. The team vibe is very positive, very, very positive. Look, we're sat here in the Super 12s in a position that we all wanted to be. Probably going back 2 years ago, we're all stuck in our houses. So look, we're all very grateful, and I'm sure not only us, but a number of teams are grateful to be here right now. So
brilliant. And looking at New Zealand themselves, are there any particular challenges that you're really looking forward to facing in tomorrow's game?
Well, first of all, we know they're a fantastic side. There's been a couple of strong performances by them, and guys putting their hands up to win some games. We know that they're going to come and try and push us as hard as they possibly can. Like they're a brilliant side. They unfortunately just missed out on the 50 over World Cup a year or two ago, and they'll certainly be pushing to try and make the later rounds of this competition. But pressure does some funny things sometimes, and we'll be looking to assert ourselves on them as much as we possibly can, and try and put them under some pressure.
And of course, you guys have now been together for a long period of time, obviously since the first round, and even before that into the preparation stages. Just give us an idea of how you guys, aside from golf, keep entertained as a group.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say that our time in Oman was brilliant. I thought the Oman cricket looked after the World Cricket League, which we played in there, first of all, fantastically well. and they looked after the group stage over there. I thought they were brilliant. The accommodation and the resort that we had to spend our time on, it was actually, it gave us a bit of outside time, if that makes sense. You know, there was space to venture out on the resort, which was really helpful. So that was a nice way to break up being in a bubble to then having that resort in the middle, which gave us a bit of time to guys to explore and have a bit more space. And then obviously coming into this phase where it's a little bit stricter again, it's given us I think it gave us a lease of life really after having been in that excellent resort there. So look, it comes with its challenges. I think we've only had a little taste of it compared to a number of these teams in this competition already. I know that a number of these teams have been in many bubbles already, and we've only had a little snippet of it. So there's a whole heap of respect goes out to those teams who've been through that, and everyone who's still competing at the highest level, trying to put on a show for everyone who wants to watch, really. So I think a pat on the back, really, to those people who've got through that, because it can be tough.
Great, thank you very much, Kyle. We'll now go over to questions. Sorry, I'm just not sure if you can get me on the microphone here. We've got some questions on Zoom, so I will now ask Jamie Durant, please, for your question.
Hi, Kyle. First of all, how's the finger after kind of sitting out the Namibia game? Yeah,
it's okay. I think I'll probably just get a few man-up pills from the physio, and I'll be all good to go. But yeah, it was less than ideal, the timing of how things panned out, and picking up a little bit of a niggle. But equally, I was very confident in the group in our team going into that Namibia game. And cricket, like I said before, cricket has its weird and wonderful ways of keeping you very honest, and 3 wickets in the power play certainly does that to you. So we'll be looking to make amends for that though in the next game. But yeah, fingers all good.
So you kind of now, say 5 games into this kind of World Cup, what would you kind of say is the biggest lessons or the biggest kind of takeaways that you've had so far?
I think, obviously, well, we had a pretty extended break from any cricket before we came into this, extended period of games. Being able to manage and deal with pressure and try and make good decisions under pressure is a real key, real learning for us. We're quite an experienced side now, so I believe that guys have been in that situation a number of times now, and every game that we tend to play, it's always qualifying for a tournament of some shape or form. So being able to deal with pressure is something that we'll continually have to keep getting better at. But I think, aside from all of that, the realization again, being hit hard by a couple of teams in Super 12, in the Super 12 phase, has really sort of hit home where the bar is raised to again. Look, it's been a long time since we faced that, and it's nice to know where it is, and it's nice to get a reality check as well, but it's also nice not to be afraid of it. So we have to be willing to take that on. Look, in the last, 5 weeks, we've beaten 3 full member sides. We hadn't played cricket for 2 years, so beating 3 full member sides in that short period of time is a real achievement, I would say.
Lastly for me, I mean, these kind of games that you've got coming up against New Zealand, India and Pakistan, these are the kind of the level of games that you're wanting as an associate nation, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Look, you get to measure yourself against the best. There's some fantastic cricketers there, and actually one of the things that I mentioned to our group was there's a whole heap of pictures of World Cup winning sides in the lift in the hotel, and trying to we obviously back ourselves to perform and play some good cricket, but with those pictures in the lift in the hotel was how many of our guys have actually played against a number of those players individually amongst different teams, whether it be franchise teams or county teams or whatnot. And before some of the guys even realised the amount of players that they've played against have actually won World Cups is stacking up. So guys have experience against some of these players, these high quality players, but we have to go into the game as equals and believe that we are equals, and we have to go in not afraid to perform and believe that we're capable of doing it. So yeah, some amazing challenges. Look, it's only going to push the bar up in Scotland. It's only going to push the excitement up about the game in Scotland and other associate countries.
Excellent. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jamie. We'll go to Graham McPherson, please.
Hi, Kyle. You okay?
Hi, Graham.
Just kind of following on from that, how do you as captain kind of get into the players that not to get too kind of overwhelmed by the names and reputations by these teams you've got coming up and just kind of focus on your own game? Because it's obviously tough when it's guys that you know very well at the other side of the wicket.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons for mentioning the pictures in the elevator, it might seem quite an irrelevant little comment, really, but it was trying to make the guys remember that they have played against or played with some of these people that we're going to play against in the next couple of days. So just remember that we're on the same field as them. We're there for a reason, because we've reached this stage because of our performances. So we have to keep believing that as best we can, and go into these games with as much clarity and freedom as we possibly can to try and compete against these teams. And I have no doubt that if we play this game, most of it's a mental approach, and if you go in there with a really clear mind and a positive approach, you'll be surprised what teams can achieve and individuals can achieve.
This is maybe the first game that you guys have played over here where there isn't an expectation or a kind of feeling that you're kind of favourites to win almost. Does that ease things at all when there isn't that expectation or pressure on you?
I think every game, every team, every player puts some sort of expectation on themselves. We have to be okay with that as well. Like we have to, like I keep saying, I keep using the word believe, but we have to keep believing that we can play against these teams and we deserve to be here. And that's why we are here. There's always going to be pressure, whatever game you play in. We thought, playing the group games in Oman, we thought there was plenty of pressure there, and there certainly was, because what that had on the line was huge for Scottish cricket and huge for associate cricket. So making a scene in many ways and getting through Super 12s is just what we feel we deserve after a good old stint at performing well over the last sort of 5-6 years. But you have to keep earning the right to get to where we are. You can't just turn up. You can't just then go back home and think you just practice again and you come back and it'll happen again. It won't happen again. Some of these teams who are going to have to qualify for the next T20 World Cup, I can't even imagine the pressure and the thoughts going through some of these teams when they have to fight for those places. So look, expectations always there, and you have to have some on you, but you have to be willing to embrace it and take that on so that you can actually let your skills out. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Kyle. All the best.
No bother.
Okay, and we'll take a final question, please, from Shubham Madan.
Yeah. Hi. My question is to you is that how does your team is being united over the years, like despite being practicing less due to COVID and all, how you all are united for, and what is your motivation when your team is not performing well?
Okay, yeah. I think being united for any team is really important, but I'll explain how we've stayed together as a group through the whole pandemic. It was certainly a challenge. It was a challenge for anyone and any team in more than just in the cricketing front. But guys, ultimately we're all a big group of friends. We're all very close. We keep in contact. And I think that was the most important thing that we did throughout the challenges that we all faced, was we kept in touch. We kept the camaraderie going as best we could. And sometimes we challenged each other to try and find ways to improve, thinking outside the box. What can you do to be a better player or be in a better physical condition to perform when we get back to playing? The other thing was, as a group, we had to keep believing and keep seeing the road to where we were going to. Okay, so we needed to know that, right, what is it we were preparing for? sometimes when you don't know what's further down the line, it's very hard to find the motivation to keep developing your skills and keep improving. So we had to be very clear that, look, this World Cup it's a year down the road now. Obviously, it got postponed a year. And that hit home very hard to a number of players because the motivation levels dropped. And then there was other tours that we were meant to have, and guys were preparing for those, and then they got cancelled, and then prepared for another one, and they get cancelled. So you can imagine guys kept getting hit by disappointment, because after all, if you're training for 6 weeks and the tour doesn't come off, it's like, well, what have we been doing? But in the back of our minds, we always knew that this tournament's here. We always knew that it was going to be a big 7 weeks of cricket. And fortunately, everyone worked very hard together and kept each other going to make sure we were in the best possible shape to be here. So I imagine every team had those challenges, but that was how we faced ours.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. All the best for the upcoming matches.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
I can see we've just got one more question here from Adriana Wright. So Adriana.
Hi, Kyle. So you've talked about the team being on a journey at the moment. What's next after this World Cup? What are you looking ahead to for this team long term?
Yeah, good question. I think in many ways, short term, I think as a group, we need to continue to obviously try and perform and try and catch up with the cricket that we've missed. We've got lots of World Cricket League competition to get our teeth stuck into, and there's obviously the T20 World Cup that we've qualified since getting through to Super 12s. So there's a number of things there. But as an organisation, I think we need to be bold and we need to be brave. And a group of players, we need to be bold and brave to try and find ways to keep progressing this group. We have to not be satisfied with just being okay, and not be satisfied with just getting through to the Super 12s. We have to now start pushing the boundaries just that little bit further. And how that looks, I don't know exactly, but I would encourage everyone back in Scotland to keep supporting this group of players and keep supporting the organisation as best possible, because there will be, we know that there will be someone out there and someone who wants to come on that journey with us, and it's so important that we group together as a group of players and as an organisation and find that path that's going to take us to that next level. And we're going to have some help getting there, but we need to have some bold and brave plans and bold and brave people who want to be involved with us to help us get there.